So this is the fourth chapter, and don't mind the roosters crowing because it's 4 o'clock. Anyway, so we're just going to flesh out the game further. We now have a very basic game, and you can play along, blow stuff up, and if you got a mistake, it's game over. You have to refresh the page again. But now we're going to improve the page. Improve the game, I guess. So first off, let's add health. Good thing about Phaser is all sprites have health by default. The problem is the health is only 1. So here we're going to change the default health to 2, not 1. So 2 bullets would be required to blow up a green enemy. But before that, let's set up the animation for damaging. So we had a hit animation, we have a fly animation, now going to have a hit animation. So this hit animation will be the 3. If you recall the 3, that's this one, the white highlight. And yeah, after the blinking, there would be blinking there. After the blinking animation, it will return back to the fly animation. It's just a quick blinking animation. Let's add that. So set up enemy. Set up enemies. Where? So here. So there's hit. And now we set our health to 2. Our basic enemy health is 2. We're just going to use F12 there to show that. So by default, the enemy resets the health. The enemy that reset, or the reset function, resets the health to 1. We want it to reset to 2 health. So we replace the reset. We're going to replace that one with this one. And again, it's not found in the same page, but if you look at it here, it's 2. Then instead of exploding when enemy are hit or the player is hit, we're going to replace that with another new function, which is called damage enemy. So damage enemy, bullet damage is 1. Bullet damage is 1, and if we crash our plane to an enemy, the damage is going to be 5. Quick copy paste. So instead of dying, or instead of exploding and dying, it's just that. And similarly, it's that. Crash damage. And let's add the comment that has nothing to do with the actual game. Then damage enemy function. So 203, still good. We didn't mess up in copy pasting. So yes, damage enemy, once the enemy is hit by a bullet or crashed, the player crashes upon the enemy, it will damage accordingly. So damage. So either 1 or 5. If it's alive, only took 1 damage, it's going to play the hit animation. Otherwise, we blow up the enemy. Let's see that in action. Let's fire a single bullet. Stutter. So the second bullet would blow this one up. First bullet, yes. Another thing. Bullet, blink, bullet, boom. Bullet, blink, bullet, boom. It's animated sometimes because again, this is a virtual machine and we expect this to stutter. Anyway, that's the health, enemy health. We now have an enemy that has health of 2, so if we try to spray, it doesn't kill everyone on one pass. So I pressed the F5 at the wrong place again. Let's just delete node again. It is a trick if you just want to use the online and you want it to easily read. Yeah. And you can always delete the navbar. Yay, bootstrap knowledge. Right, so we've got our enemies that have health and don't die with just 1 hit. Now let's add a score so that we know about our progress and whatever. Don't really need to explain what that does. Right, yeah. Player score. First, we set the enemy reward, how much points an enemy gives when you blow it up. Enemy reward would be 0 if you look at the lookup table. Yeah, so go back to the setup enemies. And yeah. Set all reward false 0. So last 4 parameters are default. We just change the last parameter to true because otherwise we're going to miss something. Set all. There is set all. Okay, this is set all. Force it to true because otherwise it has to check whether it's alive, but since everyone is dead, you just have to set it to force it to be true. Okay. And finally, just set up the text. So this is new text, and we're just going to include it in the creation of the other text. So our refactoring earlier had something good come out of it. So add the text. So this is where the score will be. At the start, the score is 0. And we set it at the top. And now, every time an enemy explodes, so every time an enemy explodes, we now add it to our score. And add to score is just a small function that will add the score and update the score at the top. So score text.text would be now the score. 2-1. And refresh the page. Now I have our score. And when stuff blows up, it now has a new score. 300, 400, and so on. So that's that. We added health to our enemy and score for us. Now let's add lives. So this is not a sudden death game. This is a normal shoot 'em up. We have lives. So first, let's set up the icons at the top right hand corner of the screen. Let's put it at the top of the explosions. Again, order matters. That's why we put that at the top of the explosions. Then what the hell? Vintage mode doesn't support that. Anyway, just add the set player icons, and what set player icon does is, set player icon does is that it creates first it gets the X. So X is just a location. It's calculated based on the game width minus 10 times the number of player extra lives times 30. So it just sets the location, an offset from the upper right of the screen. Then it's going to loop to the number of extra lives, so that is 3. Player extra lives is 3. So it's going to loop 3 times and create a new icon, a new sprite at that location. And it will scale it down to half the size. So instead of having to create a new icon, new sprite, we just use the existing player sprite. Let's just see that. So here they are. Then let's add the blinking for the player. Previously we added that for the enemy, so let's now add that. Now add that. Then now we have our ghost mode. So when we collide with an enemy, we become invincible for 3 seconds. The ghost time here, it's still 3 seconds as far as I know. So phaser time second times 3. Then it will animate as ghost. Then after it's no longer ghost, it's going to return to normal. So player hit, it's invincible. We are invincible if the ghost mode is active, and otherwise we die. Because if we still have lives, we become a ghost. Otherwise we die. All right. That's how our game will work. What the hell? The command mode is not as... And finally, this one. Then process delayed effects. When the ghost is finished, we return to normal. And we blow up the ghost until flag so that it will go through here. So process delayed effects. It's just that. So again, if we hit an enemy, we become a ghost if we have lives. If we don't have lives, we blow up. And while we're a ghost, the animation will play until the time 3 seconds after we become a ghost, and when that time is up, we become a normal. Playing again. See that? Oh, the question mark. Added an additional question mark here. Boom. So when we explode, the first alive in the group of the lives in top right hand corner dies. If we die again, that happens and we are invincible for 3 seconds. Yay. And after that, we're dead. Okay. That's that. That's the basic for player lives. And finally, for the basic game, we have this one, win-loss conditions. So instead of an infinite game, we now have this win-lose conditions. First, we set up the end message. So this display end, whether it's win or lose. If it's win, you win. Otherwise, lose. Yeah. And this display end only works if you're not winning and losing at the same time. So if this is already called, this will not be called again. And setup, you win or game over. The text, basic text. Don't really care about the anchoring in terms of why anchoring. Just need to make sure it's horizontally centered. Then it's going to show another message after the message delay, and that message will be up in a bit. Alright, next message. 255. So display end, then let's display end. First, when we die, game over. Player kill. Game over. Let's see that when that happens. Game over. Yay, game over. Then score is 2000. Let's change that for this video to 500 so that we can see it immediately. Add the score. And let's change this to 500 so that we can quickly see that in the first 5 seconds of the game. First 7 seconds of the game. And finally, let's add this one. This is the show return. It will tell you that press Z or tap the game to go back to the main menu, because you expect that the person hits this point, he or she still has the Z button pressed or tap it. Psychologically speaking, they're going to let it go when the game is over. So process delayed effects again. this is the third delayed effect we have. So let's hit the final mark. 1, 2, yeah. See, or tap game to go back to me. Then we do the fire. So this will quit the game if the return text is visible. And also, let's add the destroy to clear out our resources. And we hit back to the front page. So let's just do that. So we're still pressing Z here, but we're not going to go back until this return message is shown. So pressing Z, go back to the front page, but there is a problem. The page, the state, the main menu state requires the title page script to be title page sprite to be preloaded. So yeah, if you want to show the page in full, we need to add the preload. We need to preload the assets first. Let's do that again. Yeah, we're back here, and we're back to 0. So that's our game. That is our basic game. Hooray, you win. Let's see what will happen if we die. And before that, I need to take a bit of time to die. 1, 2, 3, and 4th death. Okay, so that works. And enjoy your game. That is our basic game.